what's up guys, it's Seem here, and in this video I'm going to give you 7 tips to recover more abandoned carts. And I'm going to show you some ways how you can do that without giving away any discount codes or any offers that cut into your profit margins. So I use these tactics on my own clients as well, and we always tend to get good results. So even if you don't currently have abandoned cart flow set up, or even if you do have something set up and you're not seeing the results that you currently want, implementing these tactics will help you convert more of these people into customers. So before I get into the actual tips themselves, I want you to understand some of the reasons why so many people are abandoning their carts nowadays. So usually there are 3 reasons why abandoned carts happen. So the first one is what I call life happens. So what this means is that they simply forgot to finish their purchase. Maybe someone called, or they got a phone notification, or maybe their baby started crying. It doesn't matter. They simply forgot to finish that purchase. Second reason is that they're still considering. So these are people that have some objections that you need to overcome. They may have some questions around payment details, shipping, maybe your returns policy. So these people are still considering. They're not fully committed yet, and you need to engage them with relevant content. So I included this meme here as well, which I think captures this audience quite well. So here is me thinking about the $600 card I abandoned because it was too expensive, and reconsidering it 2 minutes after closing the laptop. So this is a very common thing that happens. And the third reason is because they're not interested anymore. Now, these are people who just went with a competitor, or they realized that they actually don't need the product any longer. So we are not interested in converting these people that belong in the third group. We are more so interested in converting the people that either forgot or they are still considering the purchase. So I'm going to show you some ways how you can target these people. So the first tip is to follow up quickly. And what I mean by that is the first email, automated email that you send in your cart abandonment sequence, you want to send it within 30 minutes or within 1 hour. I wouldn't wait any longer than that, because if you think about it, the people that abandon their carts, they're simply 1 click away from purchasing from you. So a lot of brands that I audit, they either wait 4 hours or maybe even up to a day, which I think is a mistake, because you don't want to wait too long to follow up with these people. Number 1 thing that I would do is I would focus on the action that you want them to take. So you simply follow up saying that they left something in their cart, and you give them either a link or a call to action button to start shopping again, and you direct them to back to their cart. Tip number 2 is to make it plain text. Now, the reason why I love plain text emails is because they're more human. You can also use your brand voice when you're writing those emails. So for example, I have included a email example here from Graza. And as you can see, it's very human, it's very conversational. It reads like your friend reached out to you, or a colleague reached out to you. So the reason why I like these emails is because they're sort of like pattern breakers. A lot of brands don't use them, and it's just a simple way to stand out and get more engagement. Another thing which you can do here is you can send it from the founder or a team member, and you can actually attach a name to this email. So for example, you can say John from brand X or something like that. Tip 3 is to use humor. So I've added an asterisk here because it's not as straightforward always. So using humor largely depends on what you sell. So for example, if you're selling like luxury handbags or something like that, then maybe cracking jokes in the email might not be the best approach. But a lot of brands, there are a lot of people that are watching this video, you can use humor in your emails. And I recommend you do that because funny emails, they're engaging and they also convert better. So I have added an example here from Whiskey Loot. This is a cart abandonment email example. So they have asked the question, are you still thinking about it? And if you can't decide, here are some things we think you could do with your Whiskey Loot box. And then they have written very visual copy by imagining real life moments with the product. So for example, try new whiskeys every month, drink them while being at poker, drink really, really slowly, buy 3,000 bottles and make a whiskey bath. So as you can see, some of these points are like really good points. Some of these are like more absurd points. And it's just like a funny email which stands out in the inbox. Tip 4 is to use short subject lines and also lowercase subject lines. These simply catch the attention of the reader. So a lot of brands, when they send cart abandonment emails, they simply ask ChatGPT to come up with a subject line, and it already looks very salesy in the subject line. So I like to use short subject lines just to catch the attention and have the rest of the email do the heavy lifting. So for example, here I would say like whoops, or uh-oh, or are you still here, or do you need any help? The previous email on the last slide that example that I gave, their subject line was your cart is sobering up. So as you can see, they have already used like humor here, and the goal here is simply to get the user to open the email. Tip 5 is to crush objections. So this is all about answering any questions about shipping, about product, about payments or price. And it largely depends, the questions that you want to answer largely depend on what you sell. So you can either do it by answering them in the email itself. So you can do like a frequently asked questions email, or you can simply reach out to the consumer and ask them if they have any questions and give them a chance to reply to the email. And for example, here on the right, there's an email which asks, seems kind of expensive. So this is a brand that is probably more expensive than the other brands, than the other competitors. So here you would double down on your USP and explain why you are the better choice. Another objection is, what if I don't like the product or it doesn't work? So this is aimed at people who have questions around the returns policy. I recommend checking your meta ads comments or your customer support tickets just to find out what kind of questions people have the most, just to give you an idea what kind of questions you want to answer in this type of email. Tip 6 means friction does not equal sales. So the more friction your cart abandonment email has, the less likely it is going to convert. Personally, I don't like to recommend new products in the cart abandonment sequence because it just simply dilutes the email too much. So an example here, which I personally think is not a good example of a cart abandonment email, is it's just like a random banner which can say anything. The text is very boring. There's a very small call to action button here. And here there is all these different products that are kind of unnecessary and take the focus away from the fact that you want them to simply finish their purchase. Tip 7 is to add urgency. So if the previous emails you've seen that they haven't converted, one more thing that you can do here is add a limited time offer. Or if you don't want to add any discounts or any offers or anything like that, you can add urgency around the cart expiring. A lot of brands, they simply use urgency because they think it's the right thing to do. But if you use urgency that is inauthentic, meaning you say that, oh, the offer is about to expire, but it's actually not expiring, then that's not a good look from the consumer's point of view. So I would use urgency only if you can make it authentic. So for example, if you have a limited time sale you're running, you can tweak your cart abandonment sequence and say that this is the last chance to actually make use of the offer. So here's what the actual flow might look like if you were to set this up in your ESP, for example, Klaviyo. So the trigger is added to cart, you wait 30 minutes, you send the first email, you wait another day, you send email 2, you wait one more day, you send email 3, and then you wait 2 days to send the fourth email, where you just double down on the urgency. And some of the filters: started checkout 0 times in starting this flow, because this is not an abandoned checkout flow, this is a abandoned cart flow. Placed order 0 times and has not been in the flow in the past 30 days. The thing to note here is, if you set this up in Klaviyo and you use their template cart abandonment sequence, then in Klaviyo, the actual cart abandonment flow trigger is checkout started. So instead of being a cart abandonment flow, it's actually a checkout abandonment flow. So if you want to set this up in Klaviyo, you have to add a small snippet to your website, which doesn't like slow down your site speed or whatever. It just gives you a new action in Klaviyo, which you can use to then set this up based on the trigger of added to cart. So that's it. I hope these tips were useful for you. If you need any help with this or setting up your cart abandonment flow or optimizing it, then there's a link in the description to apply to work with me at my agency below. So see you guys in the next video.